To improve the performance of a music composing AI, especially one that is aware of and trained on all types of music, the key lies in crafting effective and detailed prompts. Here are some strategies to follow. 1. Be specific about genre and style. Clearly specify the genre and style of music you want the AI to compose. For example, compose a jazz ballad with a smooth, mellow tone, or create a high-energy electronic dance track with a fast tempo. Mention influences or artists if needed, e.g., compose a rock song with the style of early 2000s alternative bands. 2. Define the mood and atmosphere. Use descriptive language to set the emotional tone. Words like uplifting, melancholic, dramatic, or tranquil can guide the AI. Example, compose a melancholic piano piece that evokes a sense of longing and introspection. 3. Specify instrumentation. Clearly outline which instruments should be featured prominently or which should be excluded. Example, compose a folk song with acoustic guitar and harmonica, avoiding any electronic instruments. 4. Set the structure. Define the structure of the composition, such as verse, chorus, verse, ABAB, or more complex forms. Example, create a pop song with a traditional verse-chorus structure, including a bridge after the second chorus. 5. Tempo and rhythm. Indicate the desired tempo, e.g. slow, moderate, fast, and rhythm, e.g. 4/4 time, waltz. Example, compose a fast-paced orchestral piece with a tempo of 160 BPM in 4/4 time. 6. Incorporate themes or lyrics. If applicable, provide thematic elements or lyrical content that the music should align with. Example, create a soft melody that complements lyrics about love and longing. 7. Reference existing pieces. Reference existing musical works as a guide. Mention specific tracks or pieces that reflect the sound you're aiming for. Example, compose a classical piece inspired by Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, but with a modern twist. 8. Consider dynamics and transitions. Direct the AI on how to handle dynamics, e.g. crescendos, diminuendos, and transitions between sections. Example, compose a symphonic piece with a gradual crescendo leading into a powerful, climactic finale. 9. Creative constraints. Sometimes, limiting the AI can produce more creative results. For instance, restrict it to a certain scale or chord progression. Example, compose a minimalist piece using only the Dorian mode. 10. Iterative refinement. Use an iterative approach where you refine the prompts based on initial outputs. Start with a broad prompt, then narrow down as you go. Example, start with compose an ambient track, then refine it to compose an ambient track with ethereal synth pads and gentle percussion. By following these prompting strategies, you can guide the music composing AI to produce more nuanced and tailored compositions. To dive deeper into advanced prompting techniques for music composing AI, especially when the AI is highly capable and trained on vast datasets, consider the following strategies. Number 1. Multimodal prompts. Text and audio references. Combine textual descriptions with audio samples or MIDI files as part of the prompt. This allows the AI to align its composition with specific sounds, rhythms, or harmonies. Example, compose a track that blends the rhythm and groove of provided drum loop with the harmonic structure of a jazz chord progression in the key of D minor. 2. Layered prompts. Incremental development. Break down the composition process into layers or sections, providing prompts for each layer. For example, start with the rhythm section, then move to the melody, and finally add harmonies and embellishments. Example, first prompt. Create a steady, groovy drum and bass pattern at 120 BPM. Second prompt, add a catchy, syncopated synth melody over the existing rhythm. Third prompt, incorporate rich, sustained string chords in the background to add depth. 3. Adaptive prompting based on feedback. Dynamic interaction. Engage in a dynamic, interactive session with the AI. Start with a broad prompt, then refine or adjust based on the AI's initial outputs. This approach leverages the AI's ability to adapt and fine-tune its compositions. Example, initial prompt, compose an epic orchestral theme with a heroic mood. Feedback, the brass section is too overpowering. Soften it and add more emphasis on the strings. Further adjustment, introduce a counter melody in the woodwinds to add complexity. 4. Parameter control via tokens. Explicit parameter specification. Use tokens or specific command structures to control various parameters such as tempo, dynamics, pitch, and timbre. This approach requires knowledge of how the AI interprets different tokens. Example, compose a piece using tempo 140 PM, key major, dynamics piano to fortissimo, with timbre bright synths and warm strings. 5. Contextual awareness and storytelling. Narrative-based composing. Guide the AI to create music that evolves based on a narrative or emotional arc. This can be particularly effective for scoring films, games, or conceptual albums. Example, compose a piece that starts with a sense of mystery and gradually builds into a triumphant climax, reflecting a journey from uncertainty to victory. 6. Algorithmic and generative techniques. Algorithmic seeding. Incorporate algorithmic or generative principles, such as fractals, Fibonacci sequences, or Markov chains, to influence the composition. Prompt the AI to use these structures as underlying frameworks. Example, compose a piece based on the Fibonacci sequence, where the melody and rhythm follow this pattern in a gradually accelerating tempo. 7. Complex emotional and psychological cues. Nuanced emotion. Instruct the AI to capture complex emotional states or psychological experiences, combining multiple emotions or transitions within a single piece. Example, compose a piece that evokes a bittersweet feeling, with elements of nostalgia intertwined with a sense of loss and hope. 8. Cultural and historical contextualization. Cultural specificity. Guide the AI to compose within a specific cultural or historical context, blending traditional elements with modern techniques. Example, compose a modern reinterpretation of a traditional Japanese folk melody, incorporating elements of electronic music while retaining the cultural essence. 9. Harmonic and modal exploration. Advanced harmonic structures. Encourage the AI to explore less common scales, modes, or microtonal structures, or to experiment with polytonality and atonality. Example, compose an avant-garde piece using microtonal scales with a focus on dissonance and unconventional harmonic progressions. 10. Temporal and spatial sound design. Spatiotemporal elements direct the AI to incorporate spatialization effects, e.g., binaural panning, reverb, and temporal manipulation, e.g., time stretching, reverse audio, as part of the composition process. Example, compose a piece that gives a sense of vast space and distance, with sounds that gradually move from the foreground to the background, creating an immersive, evolving soundscape. These advanced strategies leverage the full capabilities of a sophisticated music composing AI, enabling you to guide the AI towards highly customized and creative musical outputs.